Writing a speech. Step 1. What are we writing our speech about? The topic for your speech will be the responsibilities of the youth of migrant communities. Well, who are the youth? We're referring to the offspring, we're referring to the young people of migrant communities who come to this country. Now, when we say responsibilities, what do we mean? You can talk about how they have a responsibility towards their own parents who actually came here, towards their families. You can also talk about their responsibility towards their communities, the community that they live in, the accepting community that let them stay here, that helped them out, that made sure everything was good for them. You can also talk about their responsibility towards these people as well. Other than this, you can also discuss what they can do in their everyday lives to make their life here better, to make their life better for their parents, and to make their life better for their communities. Because that's what's important for them. They have an important responsibility because they're also representing the country that they came from, and they're representing their own families who struggle to get here. And on top of that, they're representing their communities. So you can actually talk about this during your speech. Otherwise, why should we write a speech? I mean, why do we write speeches rather than just say them? Or rather than just think about a speech? The reason we write speeches is to make sure our speech is perfect, to make sure that we can structure everything properly, and to make sure that we don't miss anything. Writing your speech will also help us in marking, and will help you in sharing your speech around. You'll find about that more when we talk about uploading your speech to YouTube. But otherwise, writing your speech has a lot of benefits, and when you're proofreading your speech, you can actually make it much, much better. When you're going into, let's say, your tests, or when you're writing an assignment, when you write down your speech, instead of just saying it or winging it in one go, you'll actually find a lot more mistakes and make your speech perfect because you can switch around words and make it sound amazing afterwards. This is why we write speeches. Now, your speech structure. There's a couple things you'll want to include. First of all, an introduction with a hook. When we say a hook, a sizzling start is also a very good thing you can include. But a hook, you want to hook your audience in, right? So you want to include many important things. Maybe start off with a very big word. Maybe try and introduce something very... How should I say this? Try and introduce anything that's special. Anything that you want to use to provoke their emotions, right? Tell them to think about something important. So try and bring a hook that brings in your audience's interest. After that, try and have a couple main ideas. When we say main ideas, you may want to talk about one thing and then talk about another thing. That's fine. Just make sure your ideas are separate. Don't try and mix them together because that'll make your speech confusing. After this, make sure to include a conclusion for your speech. The length of your speech will be from 3 to 5 minutes. And also make sure to say who is writing the speech. So is this speech all done by you? Did someone help you? Make sure to mention who actually helped you for your speech. And examples of speeches right now, we'll send them as well when we can. So I'll just skip this part here. Now, preparing for your speech. You have step 1, writing your speech. This is going to be your first draft. So your script, in this case, will be your speech. And then when you're writing it, make sure to double check if your speech structure is correct. Make sure to include everything you can. After that, say your speech out loud. You'll know if it sounds good when you actually say it rather than read it. Because if it rolls off the tongue properly, then you know that you wrote it properly, right? After saying it out loud, you'll notice some things you want to change. So what we want you to do, edit your script and fine-tune it properly. Edit your script so that you can change around words. Edit your script so that you can include many other sentences that you'll like instead. Try and get rid of any extra sentences that you feel like there's too much. Oh, this sentence is useless. Let's remove it. Let's add another sentence. So edit your script after you say it out loud. After that, repeat your script again to find the duration. And when we say duration, we mean words per minute. Some people usually can say about 100 words per minute, 130 words per minute. So make sure to repeat your script and also time yourself when you're doing it. After that, fine-tune the speech, change any words, add some bold some text as well, so you know to emphasize on something. Otherwise, add any notes for gestures and voice variation. When we say gestures, that means moving your hands around, maybe moving left and right. Voice variation is when you increase how loud you are, or maybe say something really, really quietly. And this is for your final speech, so add any extra notes for yourself to make your speech better and to present it in a really good way. Otherwise, there's some common time delaying traps. I'll just quickly go through them. Don't think too much, don't write too much, and quality matters much more over quantity. Thank you.